Be coming your way here real quick.
Okay, just click OK.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. There we go.
Be coming your way here. Now hear me.
Got you. Yep, there it comes. All right, we're live and up and running.
Okay. All
Change
right,
over the
cool
chat
deal.
here. All right, chat has been changed over. All right, we are good on this end. Whenever you
All
are
right.
ready, we
I
can
will do the
start.
intro.
all right.
It's about time you do
Hi, this is
something
Jack
over there.
Hughes of Wang Chung, and
That's
you're listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast show with your hosts DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away. Hey,
right.
take it.
Yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s as we continue on our Elvis month.
Elvis month.
Yes, DC, brother, how's your week been?
Hey, smooth and easy, man. Smooth and easy.
You couldn't
Hope you've
ask for
had the
anybody.
same.
Oh, we just ride the waves, baby.
That's
Ride the
right.
waves. You know how it goes. Man, this is going to be a good one tonight. I'm excited. I'm
Yes.
going to let you do the introductions and we're going to get this show rolling.
Absolutely. We got Jon Daly with us with the EP Boulevard Pawn Shop, and he's live from Memphis with us tonight. He's got the Elvis
Yes.
Week going on, and busy time for the folks down in Memphis right now. An exciting time. So, John, how are you?
I feel like Santa Claus the week of Christmas. If that doesn't,
There you go. Sounds like it. Absolutely. I wish I was there for sure.
I was going to say, I bet you are busy this week.
yeah, the mega bus dropped off at the convention a few times today, and it was like we had a big group from Australia, and then it was like
Wow.
there was like two people in there, and then they just like whoosh, they all came. Okay, that's how that works. That's fine.
Yeah. Well,
Hey.
John, let me start out with this first. Why? I know that he's the greatest performer ever on the planet at any decade for me personally. But what is this? What is it about Elvis that people all over the world at any age is just attached to?
He was a trailblazer, and when you trailblaze and you're the first guy down the path, then everyone else follows. So he's basically the head of the line on this one. And so when it comes to the TV medium of Elvis Presley being on television, and then all of a sudden you've got a singer who's moving into the movies. That's kind of
Yeah.
And then he makes his loop back and he does the 68 comeback, and then all of a sudden he's the first residency of Las Vegas and the first guy doing a national worldwide television concert. I mean, you just start going down the list and it's like, who did that first? Oh, that was Elvis. That's right. Who did that first? Oh, that's Elvis.
Yeah.
Or even, if with some of the songs, who did it better? Oh, that was Elvis also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about it. And John, you can kind of speak to this. I was going to ask, are you seeing, because, we see fans of all ages still drawn to Elvis. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing that this week down at the week?
It is, it's the craziest thing because I'm kind of in between doing the merchandising of it. I will deal with somebody who comes in who will be, let's say, 85 years old, who is downsizing the Elvis collection. So it's coming from the top, heading down. And then, I obtain it. And then the very next person that could own it, perfect example, I bought recently a large collection of vinyl from a lady, and she was in her 80s. And so guess who was buying her records? Teenagers.
Isn't that something?
I called her. I said, because she had written her name on them. I called her. I said, you're not going to believe this. Like a 14-year-old young man came in and was looking at the records, and he didn't have enough money to buy all of them, but that magic day, his money covered all of them.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
She's like, I was 14 when I bought those. I go, well, a 14-year-old's buying them now. And I don't see that transition happening with the younger artist where you have 80 and 8 in the same category.
Yeah, and it's the thing that's amazing is the way, and it's not just from people from hearsay. It's people actually experiencing the music, still listening to the music, still watching his movies. I mean, the phenomenon just continues to grow, and it's just amazing to watch. I mean, there's been a lot of very popular individuals that have passed and stuff, but it seems like at a point they peak and, it kind of tails off. I don't see that with Elvis. I mean, it's just like it's just a continuous growth.
Well, I think they've been trying to kill Elvis off for 70 years, honestly. It was, oh, he's just a flash in the pan. He won't make it. Oh, well, okay. He's very popular. He's had a lot of number one hits. Well, when he goes in the army, when he comes back, he won't make it. Well, then he made it. And then all of a sudden, you flash forward and his movies are starting to not be as popular. Well, okay, this is finally time for him. He's a married man. Send him off. His movies aren't doing so well. Then he has the 68 comeback, and then he's doing Vegas, and then he dies. Oh, well, this is it. Elvis is officially gone. This is the end of it. 70 years later, they're still trying to kill him off. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be King Tut. They'll be talking about him thousands of years from now.
That's right.
I mean,
Yep.
we have we forgotten the pyramids of Gaza? No. Graceland will be that thousands of years from now. He's not going anywhere. So you got King Tut, you got the King of Rock and Roll. They're not going anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the cool things when we go down toward into that area, especially Graceland and all, is just the way it's kind of been kept the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the original. I think a lot of times some of these more touristy areas start trying to upgrade everything, and it kind of changes. But that's one thing. I think that whole area has kind of maintained that feel from that era.
But yeah, so Graceland is a very unique situation, and I mean, there's a new book that comes out, and so Peter Grolnick's book about Colonel Parker. Actually, Colonel Parker, if you get into the story, Colonel Parker is actually the guy that saved Graceland. Priscilla opened Graceland, but if you look at the years of 77, 78, 79, and 80 until May of 80, if you read the court documents, Colonel Parker and Vernon Presley, Colonel's the guy that says, whoa, hold on, sell the planes, that's fine. Keep Graceland, keep the suits, keep the gold records, keep the cars, keep the memorabilia, keep the documents, because there are no shows anymore. Graceland will be the show. And so when you say that it's original and you have that feeling of all of that, most celebrities, if you think Betty White, her house sold, it's gone. Bob Hope's house, it sells. Any artist or celebrity now, when they pass away, there's a big auction, everything sells, the house is sold, poof, gone. Can you visit Rock Hudson's house? No, it probably belongs to somebody else now. Graceland is unique, but he also had a very unique manager that understood if you keep it as a whole, we need that nucleus to keep everything together. And so luckily for us, Graceland is costumes and cars and gold records. And that's, I think, the magic of Elvis as well, is just his career was amazing, but also after he passed, his estate is one of the few that remained intact. It's almost like a presidential library.
Wow. Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. John, what is one of your most unique things that you've experienced that came in your shop?
I've got a couple. There was interesting enough, there was a lady that reached out not long ago that had the cake cutters from Elvis and Priscilla's wedding.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, but what? They checked out. Priscilla Presley's seen them. And they were kept by the chef from the Aladdin Hotel. And they're personally mine. I've got the ring from the Frank Sinatra special. I got the hat from his film Charo.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, you wouldn't believe what some people have kept, what people have. I mean, I get calls sometimes from people in town and they'll say, I have an Elvis Presley Boulevard sign. And I'm like, okay. And I actually have a real one from 71.
Wow.
Double-sided,
awesome.
Real Elvis Presley. It's unbelievable what people have kept, how people obtain things. The stories are just incredible sometimes.
Sure.
Things that people have and how they obtained it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's going to kind of lead into something I kind of wonder, like, what would, in your opinion, what would be the holy grail of Elvis memorabilia? What would be that one item, the ultimate item?
I would say, and I probably could have the backing of some of the big collectors that it would be a jumpsuit.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would
or
be awesome.
or something
Yep.
along the lines of kind of like
Yeah.
stage worn is kind of like the pinnacle. The jewelry's very popular. Just the kind of the stuff that is like personally personally worn
Yeah.
stuff, that the stuff that is photo matched is really where the collectability really happens, is the photo
Yeah.
matched. Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen one of the TCB necklaces?
Yes, they're actually not as rare as you would think that they are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that got them. There's a lot of people that got multiple ones. And yeah, they're cool. There's like known as like the first 12 that have a little bit of a difference between the first ones and the ones that Lowell Hayes did. I actually think there were probably more than 12, honestly, just kind of like doing numbers in my head of people who have them.
Uh-huh.
So the TCBs are collectible, but they're, I mean, yeah, I mean, if I see it, oh wow, that's a TCB, but it doesn't. It's kind of like the Sun records. People think Sun records are rare. There's actually more. There's more pressings from RCA that are way more rare than the Sun records are.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's interesting sometimes to the people that collect, but then when you really start getting into it, then it's kind of like, oh, those really aren't as rare as we thought that those were.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you think, like
Wow.
right now, what is the hottest items going? I know you mentioned the vinyl records. I would say those are probably a pretty hot commodity right now.
Oh yeah, vinyl is super hot right now. LPs, the 45s. I'm a 45 guy, but people love the LPs, not so much the 45s. The 78s have kind of waned off. They really haven't captured the youth. You have to be very fragile with them. I would say probably the top things that people look for. They love concert scarves. They love autographs, and Sun records are probably the top three things that people call and ask for.
Mhm.
And there are tons of bogus autographs. There is tons of fake scarves with fake stories, and there is Sun records have been reproduced. So if you go to buy
Wow.
it, you have
Wow.
homework on it
Yeah.
because it's almost as bad as the sports community with bogus stuff.
Wow.
And
Isn't that
and,
something?
and John, I'm going to ask you, what is throughout the span of your dealing with the memorable video, what is the one item where you went, really? And it just kind of like it shocked you that was actually something someone collected.
Me personally, and there's no, I'm not throwing any hate towards this, but the plates, I never understood like the Bradford Exchange plates.
Right.
I mean, I did a collection not too long ago, and the lady never met one she didn't like. And there was, I think I had like somewhere between 400 and 500 of these things, and I'm
Oh,
just like,
wow.
it's a plate, but it's not like you can't eat off of it. It's just like you hang it on the wall. Like, if I'm going to hang it
Right.
on my wall, or like this, I'm like,
Right.
I never, for anybody who loves the plates, I'm not hating on your plates, but it's just never been, that's been always been a kind of a head scratcher. The
Yeah.
whiskey decanters are kind of a head scratcher to me. Like, okay, so you drink the booze and then Elvis's head comes off. Like, no, I don't have any of them in here. I'm like, so everybody has their thing, but some people think, with records with me, it's like, well, gee, if you have one, you've had them all. But if there's variations of the records and pressings, and I don't know, it's everybody to each their own. But the record, some of the tchotchke stuff, I'm like, what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with a bell? Like Graceland bell, ding
Right.
ding. Like,
Right.
what do you do with that? You dust it.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it. You dust it. You might ring it every once in a
I
while.
don't
Right. Yeah.
it's not my thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You talked a little bit about Colonel Parker as a business guy. I mean, he was genius in that stuff because he wanted to put Elvis on everything, right?
Yes, actually, what's interesting is there's a very unknown name almost with the '50s merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Hank Samperstein is actually the guy that was the brainchild behind the Elvis Presley. So Colonel was the in between Hank Samperstein and Elvis.
Okay.
Hank Samperstein was the guy that came up with the games and the buckles and everything. He had worked with Roy Rogers and the Lone Ranger. So if you back in the 50s, everybody had like the toy guns and all the Roy Rogers stuff, right? So Colonel was smart enough to say, listen, this guy knows merchandise. So, telephone call, what can we do? Oh, we can do lipstick. We can do wallets. We can do overnight cases. We can do games. We can do buckles. We can do cufflinks. We can do hot plates. We can do jacket, and it was pretty much, there again, Elvis being a trailblazer. It was not only that you could go and see Elvis, you could buy a program, and go to the show, but there was merchandise. And if you think about like kind of that time period, just think Colonel Tom Parker versus Ozzie Nelson, and what do we have to collect of Ricky Nelson, and what do we have to collect of Elvis Presley? And that just solely has to do with who was managing who. Ricky Nelson was extremely popular, with the TV show.
Right.
There's no merchandise.
Yeah.
Money is merchandise. Movies, merchandise, records, and concert appearances. Those four things is what Elvis Presley just whoom, and off he went. And that basically had to do with who was his management at that particular time. And it was Hank Samperstein, Colonel Parker, and Abe Lasvogel from William Morris Agency. Those three guys is really the people that got Elvis Presley off and running to, and then also with the Aberbox of Hill and Range, Elvis got into the music publishing, and that was Colonel Parker. So Elvis was making money off of the royalties of his music. So it was really just this whirlwind of magic happening with people who just knew their craft. And because they knew their craft, Elvis could be Elvis and do his thing on stage, and all of the magic happened behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's kind of, you telling that is kind of amazing because, we always talk about that perfect storm when everything just kind of lines up. I mean, you have the performer, you have the manager, the marketing, everything just kind of came into play there. And I wonder, I have to wonder, DC, one of the things is the way Elvis was marketed and kind of produced everything. How many of these groups today would not be doing the marketing they're doing if it wasn't for that base laid out by Elvis? Because think about
You're
it.
exactly right.
Back in that day, that wasn't something that was normal. I mean, this was whole new concepts coming in. And I mean,
That's right.
just look at this wall behind all this marketing stuff behind me.
Right.
I mean, you go back and look at the way the performers do today and the marketing, the T-shirt sales, everything that goes on in concerts. That's where it started at.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, one of the things that kind of drives me crazy with the movie is at the very end of the film, it talks about like Colonel Parker. It's almost like he just was this old bumbling fool just wandering through the casino. Colonel Parker actually has an entire career after Elvis, after the Presley estate separation in May of 1980. Colonel Parker worked in Las Vegas for the Hilton brand, and he was working with stars. He was a entertainment consultant. He was never a manager again. People begged him to be a manager, but he actually helped numerous people become stars again. So it wasn't just Elvis that he was helping. It was early. It was Hank Snow and Eddie Arnold and Elvis. Do you know who he had after Elvis that he helped as an entertainment consultant? You ready for this? Michael Jackson.
Wow.
Garth Brooks, George Strait, Celine Dion, Wayne Newton. And it's all documented.
Wow.
My friend has Parker's estate. I can show you unpublished photos of Michael Jackson and Colonel Tom Parker together because he separated from the Jackson 5 and he went to be Michael Jackson. They all reached out and were wanting Colonel Parker's.
Isn't that something? Wow.
The perfect, and there's a very well-known interview with George Strait where he talks about he was playing the Las Vegas Hilton. Colonel Parker sees him. George, you got to get in the movies. Pure Country, George Strait's movie, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Idea from Tom Parker. Yeah. Colonel
And
Tom
George Strait
Parker's
talks
idea.
about this. Yes, he said, I wouldn't be George Strait if it wasn't for Colonel Tom Parker.
Isn't that something?
He had an
This is
entire
amazing.
career after Elvis Presley's estate and Elvis Presley's career.
I mean,
The man understood artists, and he just propelled them to a new level.
You know, you could really, I mean, kind of building off that, you could really say he's kind of that legend builder.
Yes.
You know, he's what really got that marketing and let's face it, the marketing behind these superstars is what really, you know, and they are very talented, everyone that you mentioned. But if that marketing campaign and that strategy wasn't there, would they be as popular?
Be a different
as they are?
situation.
Yeah, different
No.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You're only as good as I would say if there was a good analogy that Elvis Presley was the motor, Colonel Parker was the wheels. You have to have both, you know,
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
to be successful, you have to have both. And so the Colonel said, I'll take you places, you drive.
And see, DC, that's our problem. We don't have motor or wheels.
You guys needed
That's
Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah, we needed,
that's right. We
yes.
needed we needed him.
Yeah.
That's the key to it.
That's the whole key. But I don't think, I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you. If that was, I don't think he would be willing to work with this show.
No. There's no upside to us.
No. His one comment would be, y'all better go sell cheeseburgers somewhere.
Right. Speaking of their relationship, was it pretty smooth most of the time? Elvis and Colonel Palm?
Yes. Colonel Parker lived in Las Vegas and Palm Springs. Elvis was in Memphis. So it wasn't something that they would see on a day-to-day basis. They normally catch up with each other on the tour. And a lot of times, Colonel also would sometimes go in advance to make sure everything was set up, ready to go. A little fun fact I just recently learned, I ran across some paperwork that came from Bruce Jackson's collection, who was one of the sound engineers. And it was a list of itinerary for who was on tour. Ready for this? Colonel Parker had more people on tour than Elvis did.
Wow.
If you think about it, all the people to sell merchandise, you think he was out there doing it? It was not.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
He actually had more people on the road than Elvis did. And so it's well known that the only song that he really ever pitched, Colonel, was Are You Lonesome Tonight? And that was because of Marie Parker, probably, okay, fine, I'll pitch it to him, you know. But most of the time when Elvis was in the studio, you know, the Colonel didn't tell him what to wear. He didn't tell him what songs to choose. He didn't tell him what musicians to have. He stayed out of it. And there's a quote from Elvis that says, I do the shows and the Colonel tells them I'm coming.
Wow.
And so to me personally, reading and knowing my friends, each guy kind of stayed in his own lane. And the interesting thing too, going back and looking at correspondences, some published, some not published, between each man, is that the Colonel a lot of times would give Elvis choices and say, okay, so we have the option of A, B, C, you know, that sort of thing. Nobody told Elvis Presley what to do. There's a letter that's known from 1969 when Elvis kind of had some off-color comments, you know, about some stuff, SOB type stuff, you know, in the shows in 1969. And so Colonel wrote him a letter and said, there's children in the audience and we have press reviews. And I just, you know, I would prefer that it would be children friendly. You are the only one that can change this. And so the Colonel basically said, hey, think about the overall picture of this. We want to be welcoming for everyone, not only adults. And so I think after a little while, Elvis said, oh, you're probably right. And then it kind of, you know, was tamed down. But the Colonel never came to him and said, you know, hey, you got to think of the bigger picture here. We don't need one of your sly little comments ending up in the press.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that. Got it. So he never told him what to do. He would kind of express a concern, or he would say, these are the options that we have.
Yeah. The Memphis Mafia guys, they were tight would be an understatement of friendship with him. And when that book came out, I've got a copy of the original book. How did that go for Elvis and the fans? I'm trying to recall it. I was
Elvis,
too
what happened?
young. Yes.
So Elvis, what happened was with the Sonny, Red, and Dave,
Right.
and Steve Delaney was the guy that was kind of he was a sensational writer. So kind of per Dave Hebler, who I know, he said that pretty much the stories are there. Some of it has been embellished. They kind of got messed up on like the money that they made. This is one thing that we all make mistakes. I'm not throwing any judgment towards Elvis, but if Red West had been with him for years,
Sure.
and Sonny had been with him for years,
Absolutely.
and the fact that you fire these guys and then you fly out of town, you have your father do it, and there's and then they're trying to get a hold of you, like, hey man, like, can we talk about this? What's going on? I don't know. So to me, it was a lose-lose because Elvis didn't handle it well.
That's right. Didn't handle it right.
And then they have the book, and that didn't go so well. And so it was it was a lose for everybody. I think, maybe had Elvis handled it a little bit better, the guys did have concerns, that they could see, Red was around for the 68, 69, 70, 71. Like he knew the potential that Elvis had. So imagine 76, being with Elvis and thinking like, oh man, this is not as great as it once was. I mean, I've listened to shows from 76 and you can clearly hear him on the autopilot, just
Right.
mustering by. So I think there was some frustration because they knew that he was in trouble. I don't think he wanted to openly admit that he was in trouble or admit that he needed help. And so, and also, this is just a personal opinion. I think having Red around and Red going as far back as high school, that maybe Red had said, hey, do you remember that time that we, and maybe it was just Elvis getting older and divorced and maybe having some problems with depression and sadness and loneliness, and do people love me for me or love me for who I am type thing.
Yeah. Right.
I just think there was so much pressure on him that maybe he was just kind of like, I don't want to remember the Sun Record days. I don't want to remember the set of Love Me Tender. And maybe it was just easy for him to get rid of the pod of people that were kind of there early in the days. It was Joe and Charlie.
Sure.
And then everybody else was kind of brought in later on. And so it might have been just something where like Red tried to, maybe, hey, think about the 68 comeback. Well, if you're, turning 40 years old and you're, not feeling the greatest and things not rolling well for your life, no, you don't want to remember the good times. And it might have been hard for him to look at Red and think, man, there's been a lot that's gone on and things aren't so good. So I don't know what Elvis's reason behind letting them go was. I don't think he handled it well. I don't think they handled it well. And then in the end, it was a lose for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, John, I'm fixing to ask you the most important question of the night. This is all led up to this one question. Now, what it is, every Friday morning, just strap in. Every Friday morning, we do our show recap at the Waffle House, because we're such a high budget
It's such
show.
a high price show.
The Colonel does not approve of that.
Yeah. He's going to see, that's the first thing he's going to
It
change.
needs to be the Peabody. It has to be the Peabody, not the Waffle House.
All right. So
that's
DC,
right.
we're going to upgrade.
Right.
So what we do is normally we would give you two artists to choose from, and whichever artist you choose, whoever artist that is, the other one has to buy breakfast. But we've changed it up for Elvis month. We're going to give you two Elvis songs. Now, DC has a very suspicious mind. He always tries to say I cheated this. I don't know why he has such a suspicious mind about this whole concept, because I never give hints. He just has a very suspicious mind and always tries to say I cheat just because he has to buy breakfast. And I told him, I said, maybe it's too much caffeine. If you had a little less, your mind might not be as suspicious.
Okay.
But, we just can't keep going on together this way. So DC, I'm going to let him tell you the song. So, he can rest his suspicious mind and make sure that there is no indication of my particular song.
Right. versus
What? What?
versus Burning Love.
Well,
So
what's
which
the other
one?
song?
I think we already know it. Suspicious
lost.
Mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So which one do you like to?
So the choice is between Suspicious Minds
And Burning Love.
Okay. Well, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on here,
Oh.
and then I got it right.
This is new, folks. This is new for us
Okay,
on the
I've got
show.
it written down. It's written down right here.
Okay. All
Written
right.
down my other hand. Okay. I'm going to let you guys pick which one. What do you think I chose?
I'm going to say.
I lose all the time, so I'm going to say Suspicious Minds.
I'm going to go with Suspicious Minds.
Suspicious Minds.
DC,
there it is.
There it is. Look, hey, folks, the first.
I feel like
reveal.
a winner anyway.
Hey, that was a true reveal right there, John.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
a first. We love it.
That is a first for us.
But DC.
That's trailblazing. This is the Colonel Parker in me coming out. You know, this has never been done before.
John, maybe you'll be our Colonel Parker. You can get us going on this path.
I take 50%. Not really. That's not
well,
true.
You know, my pay is 0, so 50% of that you're welcome to.
Yeah, you're welcome to this.
So Friday morning.
How much does it cost if it's free?
Yeah, right.
That's right. Very true.
That's what I say every Friday morning at Waffle House. Hey, DC, how much does that cost? Because it's free for me this week.
You know, that was actually really his slogan, right?
No, oh, it was.
Really?
No.
Okay, give me 1 second off camera here, and I'm going
okay.
I'm going to show you. You've heard of the Snowman League, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I have the pins that Colonel Parker made for the Snowman Club, but these are actually Colonel Parker's pins.
Wow.
These are actually his real pins. Yeah. Hold on.
Wow.
They're right here in my display case here.
Wow.
Isn't that something, folks? Yeah. Yeah. You're going to see something special here.
I don't think I've ever actually shown these off before.
Once again, we have Jon Daly with us.
This is a world premiere, too.
Boulevard, pawn shop. And we're talking Elvis and Elvis memorabilia. And he's got some cool stuff here. Let's see.
Okay, you ready? Oh, look at this. It's the one right on the top here.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Isn't that awesome? I love it.
Does it cost if it's free?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and then here you go. And then after breakfast is bought, you can say, have a nice day. Okay. Okay. And then once you have your breakfast bought and you're having a nice day, then you can say that I smile all the time. Okay. And then the next week when you're going to get breakfast bought again,
right?
You say, don't worry, it won't be all right anyways.
Hey, DC, Lynn Erickson has joined us and said, I'm glad to see that week in and week out, neither of you are sore losers in that contest. No one gets all shook up.
We appreciate you joining in on the live there with
Lynn.
us.
That was amazing.
Thank you, Bruce.
I'll show you real quick too, because
absolutely.
So this is a snowman card.
Wow, how cool is that, awesome, folks?
And if you look really close, I know it's hard to say, this is Vernon Presley's snowman card.
Wow.
And it says Snower awesome. Vernon on it. And then we know that Colonel worked out of Madison. He had his operations in Madison, Tennessee over there.
Okay.
And so what's really fun is there is the keys to the kingdom.
Wow.
It's torn down. It was it's now a car wash, and so it's no longer exist, and so Colonel's office keys reside with me.
How cool is that?
That is awesome. That is
how
awesome.
Cool is
yes.
that? That is good stuff. John, enjoy the rest of the Elvis week, and
yes.
I know that DH and myself both want to be there at some point. And when we get out of this teaching gig, we're going to make a week out of it, brother.
Well, you let me know in advance, and I will take you out for a nice barbecue dinner.
Oh, that sounds great.
You guys can smile all the time.
Hey, we're there. Hey, you can take us out for barbecue dinner, and DC will buy us breakfast.
I'll buy
at
the
Waffle
breakfast.
House. We're
Yeah,
set.
there we go.
Marlowe's.
We're set.
Go to Marlowe's on Elvis Presley and have a nice dinner.
There you
All
go.
right.
I
Sounds
really
great.
appreciate y'all having me. This has been,
Hey,
I've been
John.
looking forward to this week. It's been crazy. Well, I'm not saying this wasn't crazy, but it's been crazy. But no, I really appreciate being invited on. It was an honor to join up with y'all and have some fun tonight.
Yeah, well, John,
Well, it was our honor.
Definitely love to catch up again, a little later on with anything you got going on. And
Absolutely.
I have to say either congratulations or condolences, whichever way you want to look at it, because you're now part of the D&D Dynamite family. So either congratulations or we're sorry.
He don't know how to take that. Yeah.
Well, I guess don't worry, it won't be all right.
Oh, wow.
That's the best reaction ever.
That is classic. We've had a lot of fun, John. Can you stick with us as we get it closed out?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, DH.
All right, before I do the closeout, I want to give a shout out. We got information about a special person that's kind of joined in and started listening to the show. So I wanted to give a shout out.
Yes, sir.
To Kenny Ramsey. We actually, his daughter and I actually work together in the same school. She's a wonderful person, but he's joining in on the show and has been watching the show. So I want to give a special
welcome.
to him.
We appreciate
and
you.
to all of our listeners, folks.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you joining us every Wednesday night in this. I don't even know what to
whatever
call it.
this
so
is.
We just have fun. So it's all good.
Right.
We call it a drink with friends. It's just having fun. So folks, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. Remember, you can find us on Anchor Radio.
Where can they find us?
Yeah, let me find my bifocals. They can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Radio, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that on our Facebook, Google Podcasts, on our website, all of that, D&D Dynamite 80s. Of course, Canyon Star TV, we're a member of their family, so you can watch us on YouTube. Then you can watch us on Canyon
Flip
Star.
over to Canyon Star.
Then you can go back and watch us again on YouTube just to make sure you didn't miss anything while you flipped over. See, so it's all fun.
It all is good.
Folks, as I always end off before we head out and send it over to DC for whatever his final thoughts are, which we don't really care to hear anyway.
Right.
He's buying breakfast Friday morning. It's all good. Thanks to John. Remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So, folks, always be kind to each other. DC?
Absolutely, bro. Let's get those sponsors in.
Let's do it.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at rileyroads.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project.
Yes.
You can find all these great folks online. You most certainly can. Check those fine folks out.
Yes, and folks, I want to just kind of give a couple of shout outs here. When we started this thing a little over 5 years ago, one of the things we said, if we ever have an opportunity and this thing gets big enough to help, to give back, I want you to keep two organizations in mind, and these folks do a great job. The first one is the Magic Yarn Project, and what they do is it's a group of volunteers across the nation, and they hand knit headwear like princesses, superheroes, and they donate that to kids that are battling cancer for free.
Absolutely.
And that makes a huge difference for those kids. So if you find it in your heart to support them or just send them positive thoughts and prayers, whatever, we would appreciate that. And also, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, our friend the Vooch.
Paul Carafotis, the actor. Yes.
And what they do, this organization, they actually help provide books for children that may not be able to afford books. So when you make a donation, that helps provide those books. And as educators, we both know how important literacy is at a young age. So any kind of thoughts, prayers, monetary you want to do, please help those two organizations out.
Yep.
In DC, I'm going to let you talk just a little bit about a special project that Paul's working on.
Yeah, he's got a new book, True Heart, and he needs some donations to help with the production of that book. It's very expensive to get it out and produced and all that good stuff. So, yeah, help him out, our buddy the Vooch, if you can. That would be very, very helpful.
Yes, and
next week,
what that is, kind of explain how that kind of came about, so the folks kind of know what the book.
A family lost an infant daughter to a heart condition and reached out to Paul to write a book about her, and he did, and it's called True Heart. So help those folks try to get that book out and published and all that good stuff. Next week, we will continue with our Elvis month, and we will have Joseph Hall, who is a tribute artist, will be on the show. So we'll catch up with a tribute artist next week, Joseph Hall.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
Going to be a great
Last
show.
week we had Alicia Dean. We had Jon Daly tonight. I mean, it's a good month, brother.
You know, the only thing that I can say that tops that, and John, you'll get this reference being from Memphis. Jerry Calhoun turns his back. He's pulling the chain out, folks. It's time.
Oh, we love the Memphis area. We absolutely love the Memphis area for sure. We do.
Yes. John, thank you so much for joining
Jon
us
Daly
tonight.
again. We appreciate it. Love to catch up with you again sometime, man.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys were a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about.
Yes,
all right. So yeah, we'll have the honor of catching up with you again. Talk some more of this great stuff.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. So for DH, John, I am DC. Keep playing those Elvis music and any other music that you like. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So this will be, because I'll put it out for my subscribers. So this will be on like YouTube and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be on our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm.
How long does that usually take?
It'll be right up immediately.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Since we did it live,
it'll
be on the feed.
Yeah, I had some friends that were at dinner tonight, and I was like, it'll probably be recorded. I'm thinking. So okay, just send me the link, and I'll make a post about it so we can get some viewers on it.
Okay,
sounds great.
Sounds
John.
good.
We appreciate it, John.
And you guys were fun. I have to say, this was one of the more fun ones I've done.
We appreciate it. That's all we want to do. Let's have a good time.
When we started this, we're like, we don't want to play that gotcha game and all that stuff. We want to get on here like we're sitting
just
at
have
a
a
table
good time.
over dinner, having a drink, and just have a good time. And man, we really appreciate it. Excellent job tonight. Love to have you back on. We appreciate you.
My friend tonight says, "What are they going to ask you?" I said, I don't know. I don't know.
You know, the funny thing is, we don't know.
We don't know.
Talking. We just
we just have a conversation.
We start with a couple of basic questions and just see where the
Let
conversation goes. So,
you guys are very professional. It's very awesome. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, John. We appreciate it.